Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dave from Two Average Dudes. Mike will chime in a second. Got the topic of the day in my notes, and I'm ready to roll. So, in every major city, there's a problem with homelessness, okay? There's people that are homeless, there's people that are freezing, you know, and this is just focused on Toronto. Now, you got to remember, this can be in Vancouver, it can be in Halifax, it can be wherever. It can be in your little town also. Okay. Toronto, 100 deaths a year from homelessness, like being like exposure to the elements, okay? There's people living under bridges and boxes. The shelters are full. Condos are taking over where cheap apartments used to be. Okay, last April they did like a little survey sort of thing. They said there was 533 Torontonians sleeping outside. Now that's just what they found. There probably is a lot more. Let's be honest. There probably is a lot more. They just went to the areas that are more focused with homeless people. Social housing in Toronto. There is a 98,000 person waiting list. And there's likely people that just don't apply because they know that there's a 98,000 person waiting list, so what's the point, right? Now, they say because of the refugees and everything else, now they are especially underfunded. No surprise. So how do you fix this? I don't know. Maybe it's time that people that are not working, living in like these sort of areas, are moved out. Maybe they have to go to a cheaper area, like a smaller town in Ontario or wherever. Maybe that's part of the solution, is to move these people out of the downtown core. Because rent is more inexpensive. They could set up better shelters. It'd be cheaper housing to find people that aren't working, that have no real hook on Toronto, you know, that don't need to be there. That is one option. Out of those, 100 deaths, how many were actually refugees? I'd like to actually know that stat, because like pretty well everybody has seen, like there's hotels, there's a lot of ways that illegal immigrants and illegal immigrants are being put up in shelters until things get taken over. They're being put up in hotel rooms. You know, I'd like to know some stats on that, because, you know, like I say, we have to look after people in the country first before we can start worrying about looking after people outside this country or people who want to come to the country. We have to fix the problems first instead of creating more problems. And that again leads to Justin Trudeau. You know, here is a guy who is taking in all these refugees and he isn't fixing this problem. And somebody that you know and I know could die because they have no shelter, because all this immigration he is allowing, he isn't funding. So that's just another way Justin Trudeau is failing us. Everybody knows this immigration problem, but you know, 100 deaths of people, like that is part of what he is causing by not funding his immigration idea. All he wants to do is look good in front of the world and say, come into Canada, I'll look after you. I'm great because I'm doing this for everybody. But as Canadians, we're looking at it saying, holy cripes, you're bringing all these people in, but you're not helping people at home. There's people that are on a waiting list for affordable housing. There's people that have been in shelters for ages. And now they're being pushed out. Now their spots are being threatened. Now things are becoming overcrowded because of immigration. And he is treating immigrants, both legal and illegal, better than Canadians. Like, come on, Trudeau, get your priorities straight. Look after your citizens, not look after everybody else. I swear, sometimes I feel like he hates this country. I really do. I'm being honest here, because nobody in their right mind would treat like their citizens this way. He should be working hard to help everybody. Instead, it looks like always to me that he's working hard to hurt everybody. Mike, what do you say?
You know, Dave, it's funny, okay? You are totally right. There's a huge homeless problem, and what Trudeau is saying there's no money for affordable housing. There's no money to help these people out. But yet there's money to bring in all these illegal immigrants and irregular immigrants and refugees and all that stuff. He doesn't put a cent into helping anybody who is born and raised in this country who is struggling. If you're struggling because you're born in Canada, there's no help for you. If you're struggling and born in the rest of the world, come on in. We got a ton for you. That is insane. Like you said, he hates Canada and he hates Canadians. We see it in everything he does. And this is another perfect example. He has yet to come up with an affordable housing solution. He's yet to come up with helping these people get off the streets. Because again, instead of helping them and giving them money, we're giving it to people from other country, immigrants, illegal, irregular, and all these refugees. So there's tons of solutions. Build cheap housing units, like Dave said, in small Ontario towns, in cheaper areas instead of Toronto. And you can get more bang for your buck and move those people out there. But he can't, because he's not worried about them. He's not trying to help them. He couldn't care less if 100 Canadians die every year because he looks good bringing in tens of thousands of immigrants. Okay? He'd rather spend money saving those tens of thousands of immigrants and couldn't care less about the 100 Canadians that die because of homelessness and the cold and all that stuff. Like Dave said, he totally hates our country. Anyways, guys, check out our website, www.2averagedudes.com, and check out our surveys and polls there. We'll release the first results of our poll tomorrow on Monday, and we'll put up some new polls for next week, and we'll keep you guys up to date with what everybody thinks. So make sure you vote tonight before the polls change over, and then come back tomorrow and vote again on the new polls, guys. All right, have a good one.